Have you ever felt like your life is falling apart, and no matter how much you pray, there's no light at the end of the tunnel? Yusuf did. Sitting in the dimly lit corner of his small room, his head buried in his hands, he felt crushed under the weight of his struggles. His business was failing, his loved ones seemed distant, and his faith was hanging by a thread. Why me, Ya Allah? Why do I feel so lost? These questions haunted Yusuf daily, but little did he know that his answers were closer than he imagined. Yusuf's life was a series of setbacks. Bills piled up on his table, unanswered phone calls from debt collectors became routine, and the loneliness in his heart only grew. Each morning, he would wake up hoping for a miracle, but by nightfall, it felt as though his prayers had gone unheard. Doubt started creeping into his heart. He thought of giving up, wondering if Allah had forgotten him. Yet, in his heart, the verse, "And we will surely test you with something of fear, hunger, and loss of wealth and lives," replayed like a faint whisper. Could there be wisdom behind his pain, or was it just endless suffering? One evening, while scrolling mindlessly through his phone, Yusuf stumbled upon a story of a man who lost everything in a flood, but continued to thank Allah for what little he had left. The man's unwavering gratitude struck a chord in Yusuf's heart. He paused and thought, if he can find hope in complete devastation, why can't I? That night, Yusuf sat on his prayer mat and made a silent promise to Allah. Ya Allah, guide me. Show me the path to patience and ease. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. The next Friday, Yusuf reluctantly went to the mosque for Jumu'ah prayer. The khutbah that day was about hardships and the importance of patience. The Imam's voice echoed, "Do the people think they will be left to say, 'We believe,' and they will not be tested?" It was as if the Imam was speaking directly to Yusuf's soul. The words sank deep into his heart. Trials are not a punishment but a test, a chance for believers to prove their reliance on Allah. For the first time in months, Yusuf felt a flicker of hope. Maybe his pain wasn't meaningless after all. Inspired by the khutbah, Yusuf decided to shift his focus from what he lacked to what he still had. He started a gratitude journal, listing 3 blessings every night. At first, it was difficult. His mind constantly wandered back to his problems. But over time, he began to notice the small joys in his life. The warmth of sunlight streaming through his window, the smile of a neighbor, the blessing of being able to pray. These moments, though small, reminded him that Allah's mercy was ever present, even in his darkest days. One night, unable to sleep, Yusuf knelt in sujud, pouring his heart out to Allah. Ya Allah, I am weak, but you are strong. I am lost, but you are the guide. I have nothing left but my trust in you. His tears soaked the prayer mat as he begged for relief. That night, something shifted within him. It wasn't that his problems disappeared, but his heart felt lighter, as though Allah had whispered to him, "Hold on, ease is coming." Just when Yusuf began to rebuild his faith, another blow struck. His landlord gave him an ultimatum: pay the overdue rent or leave. Yusuf's chest tightened with anxiety, but this time, instead of despair, he turned to Allah. He repeated the words, "Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs." He clung to the hope that Allah would open a door, even when all seemed lost. It was a test of his patience and trust, and Yusuf resolved not to give up. Days later, Yusuf received a phone call from an old friend who owned a small business. "Yusuf," his friend said, "I heard about your situation. We need someone reliable for a project, and I thought of you." Yusuf's eyes welled up with tears. This was the answer to his dua. It wasn't just a job. It was a lifeline that helped him clear his debts and regain his stability. He realized that Allah's help often comes when you least expect it, but always when you need it the most. With his life slowly stabilizing, Yusuf began volunteering at the local mosque. He helped distribute food to the needy and joined a Quran study circle. These activities brought him immense peace and a sense of purpose. Yusuf also started sharing his story, reminding others that no matter how difficult life gets, Allah's promise of ease is always near. His journey became a source of inspiration for others struggling with their own hardships. Looking back, Yusuf realized that his trials were not punishments but blessings in disguise. They taught him resilience, strengthened his faith, and brought him closer to Allah. He now understood the words, "Indeed, with hardship will be ease." The pain he once thought was unbearable had shaped him into a stronger, more grateful believer. He learned that every hardship carries a lesson and every struggle brings you closer to Allah. As Yusuf watched the sunrise one morning, he smiled, remembering the question that had once haunted him, "Will I ever see ease?" The answer was clear now. Yes, Allah's ease comes, not always in the way we expect, but always in the way we need. Yusuf whispered a dua for all those struggling. Ya Allah, grant them the strength to endure and the faith to see your mercy in every trial. To those watching, remember this: your hardship is not the end of your story. It's a chapter leading to something greater. Trust in Allah's plan, hold on to your faith, and never stop making dua. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who might need a reminder of Allah's mercy. Let's spread hope together.